Hey guys, hope all of you are doing well and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to recap a 2014 South Korean action crime thriller called For the Emperor. This movie is about a former professional baseball player that got caught for match fixing, went to jail, got out of jail and started working for the mafia as a debt collector. While on the job, he fell in love with a beautiful prostitute that works for the mafia. His boss was against the relationship and one day his boss decided to make her disappear. Let's find out how this plays out.
This is YiHwan, a great baseball player. He is so famous that he often appeared in the newspaper. But in his last matches, he made a lot of blunders, making his team blow big leads and relegated to the second division. His teammates, coaches, and fans were very disappointed with him. Apparently, YiHwan intentionally played badly in order to gain a huge amount of money. His coach was the one who invited him to be involved in match fixing. Sadly, his coach only gave him a small amount of money. Of course, YiHwan was not satisfied with it. Suddenly, an army of police came and carried out a raid. Everyone in that place was arrested and sent to jail, including YiHwan. YiHwan's career was completely over. Everyone mocked him. A few days later, he was suddenly released by a lawyer, who he didn't even know. YiHwan didn't ask much. He just left the prison and headed to the bookie's headquarters to get his money back. Turns out that there was a man that was being beaten by a group of mafias because he couldn't pay his debt. Their leader's name is Yeon-Soo. YiHwan, who suddenly came without manners, made Yeon-Soo angry and wanted to give him some lessons. But YiHwan is strong enough to beat him and his men alone. The next day YiHwan found out that Yeon-Soo was the one who helped him out of prison. He apologized to Yeon-Soo for beating him. Yeon-Soo wanted to forgive him, but YiHwan had to pay compensation for beating him. Of course, YiHwan did not have that much money. When YiHwan left the room, he passed a big mafia boss, Sang-ha, who leads a big loan company named Emperor Capital. Sang-ha knew YiHwan even though YiHwan didn't know him yet. It's because he was the one who ordered Yeon-Soo to release him from jail. YiHwan, who didn't have anything, decided to sleep at the baseball stadium before Sang-ha's men came to pick him up. Yes, Sang-ha wanted to talk with him and offer him an opportunity to work for him as a debt collector. YiHwan didn't immediately accept the offer, but Sang-ha reminded him that he had to pay compensation for beating Yeon-Soo. YiHwan had no choice. YiHwan's first task was to collect the debt of a former thug named Rockfish who worked as a fish seller, because that day was YiHwan's first day at work. Yeon-Soo arrogantly told YiHwan to carefully watch him collect the debt. "See how pros do it," he said. Even though there were 3 of them, they were not able to collect Rockfish debt. Rockfish was too strong for them. YiHwan's seniors ran away while Yeon-Soo got beaten up. YiHwan finally intervened. Even though Rockfish was way bigger than him, he still managed to beat Rockfish and collect his debt. In short, that day YiHwan saved them from their boss's anger. After successfully collecting the debt, they came back to Sang-ha. As a reward, Sang-ha gave YiHwan some money. Unexpectedly, YiHwan returned the money because he wanted to pay off his compensation for beating Yeon-Soo and didn't want to deal with Sang-ha anymore, but Sang-ha reminded him that his career as a professional baseball player has been ruined and he can give him a lot of money. YiHwan finally decided to continue working under Sang-ha's wing. As a celebration of YiHwan's entry as a new member, Sang-ha invited YiHwan to drink at a bar they used to drink at. At that place, he met a beautiful girl. The girl is Cha, a prostitute who works for YiHwan's mafia big bosses. Her beauty made YiHwan completely fall under her charms. YiHwan enjoys his first days being a debt collector. He had no trouble adapting since Yeon-Soo mentored him on how to be a good debt collector. Yeon-Soo even gave him a Mercedes-Benz and other luxury things to make him look even more dignified. One night an unexpected thing came to YiHwan. Cha approached YiHwan and asked him whether he had time to go out together. Of course, YiHwan didn't want to waste this opportunity at all. The next day they went for a walk at a riverside. YiHwan really enjoyed his time together with Cha. However, an unpleasant thing happened. An old man suddenly approached Cha and started teasing her with inappropriate words. YiHwan was not happy about it. He was so angry that he strangled that old man. Cha immediately broke them up. It appears that the incident didn't really affect their day because they still look happy after that. After a tiring day of walking, YiHwan takes her back to her apartment. They made love for the first time. One day Sang-ha invited YiHwan to meet his friend Han, who's also a big mafia boss. He respected Han a lot. It turns out that Han was the man who YiHwan strangled when he was out with Cha. YiHwan immediately saluted him because YiHwan was too panicked. He didn't expect that the man he strangled was a big mafia boss. Apparently, Han and Sung-ha met to discuss their plan to build a big building that will be used as their new office. On the other hand, YiHwan was getting better at doing his job as a debt collector. He always managed to complete his task without any problem. Sung-ha was very happy with YiHwan's performance. Meanwhile, YiHwan also often dated Cha. 3 years later, the office construction was finished. YiHwan and the other members worked at the new office. Sung-ha called to come to his room. Sung-ha knew that YiHwan had a special relationship with Cha, his prostitute. He doesn't want YiHwan to be distracted by her, so he asked him to stay away from her. Sung-ha believed that relationships could interfere with professionalism at work. YiHwan was so sad because his boss forbade him to get close to Cha. He even abandoned his duty of debt collecting. His partners complained about this to Sung-ha. They wanted Sung-ha to eliminate YiHwan, but Sung-ha didn't want to do that. He decided to warn YiHwan instead. He really led his organized crime mob with a combination of loyalty and cold-bloodedness. Even though Sung-ha had already warned YiHwan to stay away from Cha, YiHwan insisted on being close with her. One day, Cha came home crying. She told YiHwan that she worked as a prostitute because he had a huge loan at Sung-ha's company. Knowing that he met Sung-ha the next day and told him that he would pay Cha's debt, Sung-ha approved it. On the other hand, Han and Sung-ha's car were attacked by a gang of criminals. Turns out the mastermind behind the attack was Cutter, a feared mafia in Korea, who was thrown into prison by Sung-ha years ago. Actually, Sung-ha already knew that Cutter was going to be released from jail, but he didn't expect that Cutter would take revenge so soon. Luckily, Sung-ha's men immediately came to save him, even though Cutter managed to escape. The next day, Sung-ha came to Cha's apartment and told her to stay away from YiHwan. Sung-ha had no choice because his warning on YiHwan didn't work. Cha was afraid that their safety would be in danger if she insisted on seeing YiHwan. She decided to stay away and disappeared from YiHwan. Realizing that Cha was missing, YiHwan thought that Sung-ha had something to do with it. His relationship with Sung-ha is getting worse. On the other hand, they thought Cutter was a serious threat to them. They were trying to eliminate him by attacking his headquarters. In the raid, the gang was led by YiHwan. They walked into the house with knives in their hands. Of course, there were people who were on guard. They were surprised someone was trying to break through. The fight was unavoidable. Even though YiHwan was alone, he was able to defeat them in no time. On the other hand, the other gangster members who broke through the headquarters separately managed to get in without any problems. There was bloodshed and they started to kill every person in that house. It seems that the people in that headquarters were not ready for their sudden attack. Even though they managed to kill everyone, Cutter was not there. Cutter, who managed to escape, was trying to get revenge. This time he successfully kidnapped Sung-ha and tortured him somewhere. Yeon-Soo, who saw and knew where Sung-ha was kidnapped, immediately called YiHwan. He told YiHwan where Sung-ha was. YiHwan rushed to that location to save his boss. Cutter, who was stronger and bigger than YiHwan, was not an easy opponent for YiHwan. YiHwan had been knocked down several times, but YiHwan didn't give up and finally found a way to beat him. Not only that, he also buried Cutter alive because he was so angry. At the end of the movie, Sung-ha and YiHwan are making up and taking a rest after the tiring fight. On this occasion, Sung-ha told him that he and his men once collected a debt somewhere. That day he saw a brave little kid who dared to fight his men alone, even though his men then finally beat that kid. Out of pity for the kid, he ordered his men to stop and then returned that boy's baseball. It turned out to have YiHwan's name on it. That day, Sung-ha planned to recruit that boy when he grew up. It was YiHwan.